G'day, I'm Mighty, and welcome to the Mighty Outdoors. This is day 2 of my solo bikepacking Shikoku pilgrimage adventure for the month of Movember, as I travel around Shikoku and raise funds and awareness for men's health.
Get off the couch, ditch all the chores. Let's go for an adventure in the mighty outdoors.
I've spent the night in basically a tree house, so I didn't set up a tent inside of here. I just slept on the boards with my thermarest. Started out in a sleeping bag, much too hot, so I just ended up sleeping in the liner. But yeah, the mozzies they were buzzing about, so I had to sort of duck for cover inside of a sleeping bag liner. So I'm going to get ready, have a quick bite to eat, and then head off to the 11th temple, which is the first one that I'll do for today, the Fujidera. Alright, so pretty much packed up. Not that there's a lot to be packed. And so I'm going to move on with breakfast. Breakfast this morning is a mixed sandwich from Family Mart. Tuna, lettuce, ham, cheese and egg. Not bad for the equivalent of less than $3 Australian. Now, there's only one more thing to do before we sort of pack up. It's something we used to do in the Scouts in Australia when we leave a campsite. It's called an emu bob. And an emu bob is the process of walking around the campsite and collecting rubbish. Now, I've got a sandwich wrapper and a couple of drink bottles, but there's a little bit around here as well. So, in the spirit of the Australian Scouts, it's time for an emu bob. One bag of trash, which will go in the next bin. Keep the mighty outdoors beautiful. Right, so while I'm loading up, I thought I'd take just a couple of seconds of your time and do a quick gear review. For anyone out there who does overlanding, bikepacking, this sort of stuff, there's a product which I've been using, which I reckon is pretty good. And they're called a wrap tie. Now, these wrap ties, they're made from recycled bottles, okay? And they're a stretchy strap with Velcro, sort of double-sided. One side's a fluffy side, one side's a sticky side. And what I like about them is because I'm using these, nylon, waterproof bags, these are great because there's no metal on them. It's entirely it's a variety of materials, but none of it's abrasive. So what I do is I basically just strap them down, give them a good pull, make sure I've got some Velcro side flipping up, and then I just lay them down. And I tell you, they grip and they hold it, and I don't get anything moving on the back of this bike, which is really important because there's a lot of weight here. You know, I've got plenty of kit, right, to keep me going for this couple of weeks, and I need to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. And that's why I love the wrap ties. They've been stopping them go. That's what it says. Wrap tie. Stopping it go since 2017. Great product. If you're looking for something to hold your stuff down, have a look out for them. And it's recycled. I mean, how good's that, right? All right, let's go. So I've paid my respects at the Fujidera, got my stamps, got my prayer cards, and now the next temple is on top of a mountain. Here comes the big first climb. Let's get into it. Alright, I'm off to the Burning Mountain Temple, temple number 12. And you know what? I reckon by the time I get there, it won't be the mountain that's burning, it's going to be my thighs and calves, because it's up there somewhere. See that mountain ridge line? Well, somewhere up there is temple number 12. I won't lie to you, it's hard. But they say nothing ever worth doing is easy. There we go, 26 kilometres to the temple. A little bit of a downhill now, well deserved. Can't go fast down these hills with all those bags on the back. No way. Anzen daiichi, as the Japanese would say, which means safety first. Ah, that's what I like to see. 5 kilometres. This has been a massive morning. It's 20 to 11. I've been on the go. Well, I left Fujidera at 7:30. Has been about a bit over 3 hours of just climbing, and look, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, no question. But boy, oh boy, is it hard work. But it's for men's health. And you know what? Doesn't matter how hard it is for me riding a bike. There are guys out there, fathers, sons, uncles, cousins, nephews, mates, who are doing it a hell of a lot worse than some guy riding on a bicycle. So it's time I take a spoonful of cement and get on with it. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Domo. Well, that was brutal. I've been on the bike 4 hours. I did about 30 kilometers in distance, up and down, up and down. When I got my book signed, I spoke to the attendant here at the 12th temple, and he explained to me, on the basis of what I could tell him about my route, I probably made it about 3 times as difficult as what it needed to be, taking all sorts of side routes and mountain roads. Domo, o tsukaresama deshita. Hai, okini. Anyway, it's all part of the journey, it's all part of the experience. Anyway, the good news is that from here down to Temple 13, it's apparently pretty much all downhill. So despite taking 4 hours to do 30 kilometers, I'm hoping the next bit will be much quicker. And as my lunch, because it's almost midday now, I have my favourite red bean bread and a bottle of water. So that'll keep me going for a bit. And it's off to temple number 13. This one here, I must say, you know, before I talk about temple 13 anymore, this one was quite nice. I think what has made this one a bit special is just the amount of effort that it's taken to get here. You know, and yeah, and it was really lovely along the way. A few people stopped and sort of called out to me and said, "Sort of, are you all right?" You know, I was taking these funny routes and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, I've been touched by the hospitality that I've seen already on this trip, and it's only the beginning. So I'm going to tuck into my red bean bread, and we'll carry on. I've arrived at the 13th temple. Now from the 13th onwards, for a few, they're quite close together. So I'm going to do them in quick succession, and then have to start looking for a place to stay for the night. While it's true that temple number 14 is quite close to temple number 13, what they don't tell you is that the driveway is like a wall. It's basically straight up. And I tell you, when you're on a heavily laden bicycle, whoo, you don't forget that in a hurry. Now I've just stopped and spoken to a fellow on the side of the road, and he's turned out to be so helpful. He's helped me fix it with wire. これワイヤーでよかったな。よし。ここでちょうどな、そこや。時々見て。Lemon juice to drink and some water, and asked me next time I come through on the next time I do the circuit, which I don't know if that's ever going to be the case, but so next time I come through on the circuit, come and visit. I tell you what, the generosity of people out here towards people doing the pilgrimage is really something quite spectacular. So here we are, temple number 15. You know, I've got to say, I've been really quite touched by that fella who helped me out with my bike. You know? I mean, let's face it, I'm a funny looking guy with a mustache. There's plenty of people who'd probably just turn on their heels and run away. But, you know, he's really done me a solid. And that's just great. So I think that, you know, while going to the temples and all that sort of stuff is all very well and good, the opportunity to meet people on one's journey, I think is what really makes it a valuable experience, more than anything else. This is the 16th temple, close to the other ones, which is great. Just look at the detail. What's incredible in particular about this is when they were made, they weren't held together with bolts and screws and things like that. The craftsmanship is unbelievable. Temple number 17, the Idoji. Okay, so that was temple number 17. Now, on the basis of my research, I think that's probably where I'm going to stop for today. Temple 18's a bit further out. I'm probably not going to get there in time to get my stamp and pay my respects. So I'll stop at 17, and I've heard there's some sort of a hut nearby. Not sure that this one's going to be quite as good as the one that I had last night, but we'll see. Anyway, now I just have to do, now I just have to get to it and see what we find. This is how I roll. All these different things charging. GPS, drone batteries, GoPro, microphones. It's all happening. All this extra stuff. So that's it. This is the day's wrap up. It was a big day. Found out later on that the temple number 13, which was so hard to get to with all the weight on the back of my bike, that was the second highest climb out of the 88 temple pilgrimage that I'm doing. So there's one out there bigger than it, but all the rest should be smaller, which is, I guess, is good news. So the Movember takeaway from today has been the power of asking someone, are you okay? I had a couple of issues today. I had the rack fail on me. I suffered from a bit of, exhaustion after the great big slog all the way up the mountain. And I was really touched when people stopped and asked if I was all right, and if I needed a bit of help, they helped me on my way. Now, for someone who's struggling with issues with mental health, or contemplating suicide, or is going through, is dealing with issues such as prostate or testicular cancer, which Movember is all about reducing. I mean, the power of asking someone, are you okay? Taking the time to find out how they're doing. If they need something, perhaps there's something you can help with. I reckon that's the takeaway from today. I was really touched, and I wasn't even that bad as the situation, you think about it. I just had a few mechanical issues and was a bit tired. Imagine how powerful it must be if someone's really suffering and really needs a hand, to be asked, are you okay? And to have someone nearby who's able to assist. So yeah, that's my mental health takeaway for today. Anyway, I'm stealth camping, so I gotta be quiet and chill out and not cause anyone any problems, as I'm very inconspicuously tented up here in the middle of the city. Anyway, can't wait for tomorrow, day 3 of this amazing adventure. Thanks so much for joining me in the mighty outdoors today. Can't wait to see you next time. Hooroo and good night.